ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a Japanese film from 2001. That movie is Suicide Club. Now, where I normally, guys, go into these movies not fucking knowing anything, this one I actually went out and I looked up what the plot is kind of about. And from what I read, this movie is about a police detective who is looking into a series of rather suspicious suicides. The first of which was a whole bunch of high school students all diving in front of a subway train, which sounds really awesome, and I'm curious exactly where this movie is going to go with this, premise, because it does sound really, really cool. However, I also know that I am a warped and sick human being, so perhaps maybe it's just the fact that I kind of like this kind of nasty, nasty shit that makes it interesting to me. However, I have no idea if this thing is going to be good. I fucking certainly hope so with this sort of an awesome premise. But the only way I'm going to find out if it is any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Suicide Club. Okay, so we are off to a rather cool start. I wasn't expecting to see a student's head get crushed, by the wheels of the subway train. That was certainly good and disgusting, and the copious amounts of blood are also a little bit sick. So far, guys, this movie's starting off great. Okay. I really hope that we get a friggin' explanation as to why there's a giant roll of stitched up human fucking skin in this, sports bag. That is definitely fucking disgusting, though. Oh my god, is this god-awful song the only thing that plays on Japanese TV? Swear to god, guys, every single time that someone has a TV on, it's playing this stupid song and the same shitty, music video for it. Mind you, I'm not a big fan of J-pop, but this shit is bad even by J-pop standards, guys. The very fact that it's one of the only songs that plays in the entire movie makes it even worse. Okay, guys, I have a question here. So, the police got a phone call, a somewhat cryptic call that said that there were going to be 50 more jumpers. At the same subway station, on the same platform, they were even given the time. Knowing that you are going to be working with 50 potential suicide victims, don't you think you'd send more than just 3 plainclothes officers to monitor the station? Wouldn't you have quite a few more in order to stem the tide of possible victims? Perhaps, honestly, guys, it is just me, but it just seems kind of stupid to me. You know what I mean? Okay, I wasn't expecting a song and dance number in this movie. Seriously, guys, we have a character here who just randomly is breaking out into song. So apparently, after 1 hour of just straight up, horror, now we're kind of jumping into musical territory. It's weird, but hey, at least it's kind of cool. Well, guys, we have a new J-pop song in this movie. Unfortunately, it sucks just as much as the first one. Thank God they stopped playing it. God, that song was awful. Well, guys, that was Suicide Club. That was, different. Okay, let me shut that off. I am not listening to another shit-tastic J-pop song from this batch of tone-deaf 12-year-olds. Okay. You know what? I might as well start with music, because the whole thing kind of sort of connects to this bullshit band. I actually kind of had a feeling that that was going to be sort of the twist, that there was somehow a connection. It winds up there is some kind of a connection, I think. The ending's a little bit cryptic. At least, to me it was sort of cryptic. It might make a bit more sense on like a second or a third viewing, but yeah, this fucking band and their shitty music, which kind of plays an integral role in the film. The music sucks, alright? And what few songs aren't by, what in the fuck was this band's name? Desert? Anything which isn't from them sounds great, including the random fucking musical, number about an hour in. However, anytime that we hear a song from them, all like 3 songs that they, shit forth in this movie, those 3 songs are terrible. However, I also have to mention again that I kind of have a bias because I'm not a fan of J-pop, so yeah, there is that. Anyway, on to the movie itself. Writing. I will say that this movie knows how to build tension. It knows how to creep out its viewer. It knows how to do all of this and do it in a very subtle fashion, which makes everything even more unnerving. It really is kind of an interesting film, guys, when you kind of look at it from the right, angle. The story here is great. It really starts to get a little bit confusing in the last half hour or so. However, though, again, that'll probably make a lot more sense on my second or even my third viewing. And yes, I am bound to watch this thing a second or a third time. So that should sort of tell you that I kind of enjoyed this. Our characters are really, not... No. Our main characters, what few of them actually matter, are definitely, deep. A lot of them have got a lot of complexity going on. And that is always good, especially since if the characters were shallow, this movie would have been awful. Because you have to follow with the characters, especially since most of them are the cops who are investigating this rash of very oddball suicides. And you basically are watching their thought, process, and you're watching more and more people die in various fashions. I mean, okay, it really starts off kind of sort of bland because every single death is either jumping off of buildings or jumping in front of a subway train. And then suddenly we hit this one point where it's hangings, it's fucking pills, it's head in the oven, it's all, and just all of a sudden suicides are happening everywhere. And they are not these mass hits that were seen early on. The movie, in terms of writing, is really good, especially since it is trying to be a thriller, it's trying to be a mystery, it's trying to be a horror film on a small level, and it hits all of that perfectly, especially because the people who are in it to watch a horror film are in it to see a body count. The very fact that the movie starts with 54 students jumping in front of a subway train should tell you that yes, we are in for a high body count in this movie. Also, the people who watch it for horror are here for a lot of blood, and in that opening scene there is a ton of blood. In fact, anytime that blood is present, there's tons of it. Nothing here is ever done in low levels. It's like we either have buckets of blood or no blood at all, and that's fine. That's awesome. So it's like, and the people who are here for the mystery are trying to figure out who or what is causing these mass suicides, and again, I honestly was sort of left a little bit puzzled at the very end. I mean, I kind of sort of have a couple of theories, but nothing here was, just straight out explained, and that's something that you should really do if you're writing a mystery. And of course, the thriller aspect is just the fact that you don't know who is going to commit fucking suicide next. So it kind of sort of leaves everything, hanging, and it kind of leaves you a little bit tense as you wait for the next body to oftentimes literally drop. Anyway, so yes, it hits, all of that, and the story is really, really, really well told. I just may need to watch it again in order to fully understand the ending. Anyway, acting here is really good. There was nobody who really phoned it in outside of 2 or 3 children, and considering the fact that there are a lot of child actors in this movie, the fact that only about 2 or 3 of them sucked should tell you that the acting here is great, including from, children. I mean, they could honestly have recast those 2 or 3 kids, and the movie would have had stellar acting from top to bottom. However, though, the fact that we do have those 2 or 3 really terrible performances, it still doesn't hurt the movie too much. It's just, it is very noticeable, and it is probably going to pull you out of the film when all is said and done. So yes, guys, the acting here is really good. Special effects, well, seeing as on how I talked about there being mountains and mountains of blood, yes, there is tons of blood. A lot of it is very, very watery. However, though, that's kind of sort of normal for movie, blood to not be as thick and viscous as actual blood is. So that is fine. And anytime that we see anytime we see like shredded skin or cut up hands, what have you, all of that looks really, really good. So yeah, special effects here are really good, and they actually do kind of help in terms of giving the viewer this absolutely unnerving feeling as you're watching the entire movie. So yeah, guys, special effects here are great. Music, well, I've already touched on the music. There is a fucking pop act whose music is complete shit, and everything else is halfway decent. I really can't explain it any better beyond that. Let's see, camera work here is really good, the lighting here is really good. The subtitles almost seemed a little bit off at times, and when I say that, I mean that it didn't seem to be translated right, or they maybe used the wrong word. Which, mind you, that only happens like 3 times maybe across the entire film, where I had to kind of read over a subtitle twice because it didn't seem to work right, and that is minor, especially since I have seen movies with vastly worse titling. And mind you guys, this thing here is the commercial DVD. This thing here is not a fan sub, and this thing is not a bootleg. This is the genuine article, and it still has problematic subs, and that can sometimes be seen as a problem. However, the very fact that I could seriously only count the times when I had to read over a subtitle a second time about 3 times, that is fine. I mean, shit, because everybody's bound to make, everyone is bound to make mistakes. So I honestly am going to let that slide. Just basically a heads up, there may be a couple of subtitles which are going to seem a little bit awkwardly worded, and that, I think, is sort of the issue here. All in all, guys, am I able to recommend Suicide Club? Kind of, yes. I do have to mention that the ending, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck happened in the ending. Because I have a feeling that they tried to kind of sort of tell us about who was doing, exactly who was prompting all of the suicides, and they kind of did, but they also kind of didn't. It's a very odd and very cryptic ending, and when you are doing a film which is trying its damnedest to mostly be a mystery, the very fact that you want to cram in a cryptic ending like that, it really does kind of sort of kill the film slightly. Now, mind you, it definitely does warrant multiple viewings if you want to really figure out what the fuck is going on. However, though, It's probably going to alienate people who are going into this who really just want horror, or they just want, a mystery. If they basically are given a fucking ending that would if they're basically given an ending which seems that seems almost as if it came from David fucking Lynch, it may wind up turning off some people. Now, that honestly isn't a huge problem. I mean, because, hey, guys, I honestly am still recommending it, just giving you that fair warning that the ending may not make a whole lot of sense to you, because it kind of left me puzzled a little bit. Now, Suicide Club came off the Amazon.com wish list. The person who sent it in is Robert, and as always, Robert has asked that I not give out his YouTube channel, and that's totally cool. But Robert, thank you. I have been curious about this movie for a long time, and I'm going to tell you that I was kind of surprised. I really thought the ending was going to be a bit more of a straight fucking forward ending, and instead we didn't get that. Which is totally fine, and I am not going to complain too much. It's just, the movie though, all told, is still pretty good. And Robert, I would never have had, well, I probably wouldn't have had the chance to watch it if you didn't buy it off of the wish list. So dude, thank you. And, yeah, guys, I am almost tempted to go back and watch this thing a second time right now, but I'm not going to, because I kind of sort of want everything to kind of settle in my brain before I try to give this thing a second fucking go. So I think I'm just going to find something else on my Blu-ray shelf to watch. I don't know, maybe I'll watch, Superman 2. There we go. I'll just pop in Superman 2. Why? Why not? Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.